And now let's shift our attention over to the United Kingdom, which is facing the big question: will Boris Johnson become the next Prime Minister of Britain? The Conservative Party will be naming the new Prime Minister today. Boris Johnson and Jeremy Hunt's fate lies in the hands of 160,000 members of the Conservative Party who have voted for their choice. Whoever wins the race will be taking office on Wednesday. Theresa May's successor will have the burden of steering Britain out of the European Union by October 31st. So far, Boris Johnson, who is a member of the Parliament from Uxbridge and South Ruislip, has been leading the race. In fact, most of the polls have predicted that he may have received 70% of the votes. Johnson has said that he will ensure Brexit takes place on October 31st, with or without a deal. A few days ago, British Finance Minister Philip Hammond said that he would resign if Johnson becomes the Prime Minister. The current Foreign Secretary of the country, Jeremy Hunt, is the other person who was in the race. Hunt's views on Brexit are different. He says he wants to negotiate a credible Brexit plan. He says that Brexit will happen, but he is willing to get the deadline extended if need be. Hunt was once an opponent of the Brexit. Among the two, Hunt has held more cabinet posts than Johnson. As Britain waits the announcement, several hundred protesters gathered opposite Downing Street to oppose Boris Johnson becoming the next probable UK Prime Minister. The protest was organised by the left-wing group, the People's Assembly, and a few speakers.
Which is nice.
Diane Abbott, who was also a part of the protest, said Johnson's thinking about race would set the country back decades.
Benefit levels, increasing efficient benefit conditions. Is that the government?
Remember, May resigned after failing to get the Parliament's support for her Brexit deal 3 times, while her time leading the Tory party has ended after her resignation on June 7th. She will stay the Prime Minister until either Johnson or Hunt are chosen as her replacement.
We've had the opportunity to serve the country I love.
Trouble is also mounting for Venezuela, as more than half of the country's population was left in the dark after a severe power outage. Reports suggest that around 18 of the 23 states in Venezuela were affected by this power outage. The country's information minister came out with a statement wherein he blamed the outage on an electromagnetic attack. No proof, however, has been provided to back these allegations. Blackouts in Venezuela are in fact a grave crisis. This is a country whose economy has halved in the recent months, a country that is suffering from hyperinflation running into millions. Power outages also mean no refrigerators. This is a problem for Venezuela, as there is severe food shortage in the country and its citizens cannot afford their existing stockpile going bad. Power returned to the southeastern state of Bolívar but went out again after 10 minutes. Venezuela's opposition leader Juan Guaido has also slammed the government for the power failure. He blamed the government for having no answers to the power outage and said that the opposition will take to the streets against the government's inaction. This is the biggest power outage in Venezuela since the one in March, which lasted over a week and affected all the 23 states. That time around, Venezuela had blamed US for tampering with the Guri Dam hydro facility, which is the country's largest power production plant. The fact remains that Venezuela's national power grid is in extremely bad health. A single hydroelectric plant supplies about 80% of Venezuela's electricity, and even that plant has not seen proper upkeep. The state's power supplying agency, Coprelec, is run by military and government loyalists and lacks quality management. The lack of initiative and funds has also stalled the construction of new power generation plants. Thousands took to the streets of Manila today to protest against President Duterte's hugely controversial drive against drugs, which many term as extrajudicial killings in the garb of tough policing. Protesters held banners of "Stop the Killings" in Manila, even as President Duterte continued to push his agenda for death penalty in cases of drug crimes. Duterte's brutal anti-drug campaign has claimed thousands of lives and has sparked widespread outrage in the South Asian nation. Even heavy rain could not deter the protesters, who were out in the streets braving the downpour with their umbrellas and banners, even as military and police in the capital remained on high alert.